Welcome to this TCPEA video, and today we want to talk about T-PESS standard number 5, which relates to strategic operations. And in strategic operations, the standard talks about the principal is responsible for implementing systems that align with the school's vision and mission and improve the quality of instruction. And so when we break this down into the indicators, the first indicator within standard 5 is that the principal outlines and tracks clear goals, targets, and strategies aligned to a school vision that continuously improves teacher effectiveness and student outcomes. What this means overall as a principal, we have limited resources, and we need to make sure those resources are aligned with the mission and vision of the campus. We need to continue to collect data in this data-driven age and use it to help inform decisions. We need to make sure we understand in our data what actually is a signal to indicate that we need to make changes and what actually is just kind of the peripheral noise that takes place. So that's going to be something that we need to be able to learn as well. We've got to communicate things well and never be satisfied with the status quo, always pushing for improvement. And the next indicator is that the principal implements daily schedules and a year-long plan for regular data-driven instruction cycles, gives students access to diverse and rigorous instructional programs, and builds in time for professional development. Now, really and truly, when this breaks down and looking at from proficient to distinguished, we see that the principal needs to make sure that they protect learning time. You know, in our campuses, we have a lot of people that want to come in and talk to our students. We have a lot of things that try to distract us from the actual learning that needs to go on. But we've got to fight to keep learning time the learning time and make sure that students are engaged as much as possible. It also means that the principal is going to support the development of personalized and targeted instructional strategies. If you remember, the T-TESS goes from having a teacher try to create an environment in which the student takes ownership in their learning, and so this right here is going to support that environment to the extent possible. And it also, if there needs some modifications need to take place, especially in regard to scheduling, to be able to address instruction, then we want to be able to do that. We want to try to squeeze as much instructional time out of the day as we possibly can. The third indicator within Standard 5 is that the principal aligns resources with the needs of the school and effectively monitors the impact of these resources on school goals. And basically, we want to make sure as principals that we give teachers all the resources they need to be effective within budgetary constraints. I mean, we don't have unlimited financial resources, but we want to look and see if we need to put other people in, if we need to find new teachers, if they need other books, anything in place that needs to be resources that we can try to work with to make them effective, and that even includes things like professional development. We also want to make sure that as principals we get feedback and recommendations from campus leadership teams, continually communicating with those individuals in order to try to get better information about what is going on our campus. The fourth indicator within Standard 5 is the principal collaborates with district staff to implement district policies and advocates for the needs of district students and staff. Now really this works with it. You've got to take your policies at the local and state level and you want to work with others using best practices to try to have the biggest impact you possibly can on student performance. And you also, this goes one step further to work to try to be to the distinguished level, is that principal is expected to not only be compliant with the policies at the local and state level, but be actively involved in the decision making that takes place. So, being a part of some of the decisions that are made at the state level, at the local level, and even the federal level to the extent possible. And where we find evidence for this standard, and just like anything else, is that within the T-PESS, it's not like the T-TESS in which you have at least one full classroom period where you're getting to see something there. In here, it's just an ongoing process where principals ought to be just keeping up with different things, creating a portfolio so that they can indicate where they stand in these different standards, these different indicators. And in this particular one, they talk about looking at the campus improvement plan, some of the financial information on the campus, the master school schedule, because we talked about the idea of protecting instruction time, any type of visioning documents, professional development plans, and there's likely to be some other things in there that fit into this particular standard as well. And at TCPEA, what we're all about is trying to develop administrators for the next part of their life. Let us know how we can help.